welcome to episode 24 of Unqualified Game Chat. I am your host, Azario Lopez, and with me is my co-host, Spencer Legacy.
It's the week of July 15th.
You did it.
We did it.
We got all the information there for the listeners, and that's all that matters.
If you guys want more info, get out of here. We don't care. That's all you get.
Yeah, what else can we give them? Timestamps. I do timestamps.
Yeah, that's true. You do timestamps. We could tell them, what our heart rate is.
Oh, yes.
Them, what's the weather in each of our locations.
Are you sitting next to a window?
I'm right in front of a window, yeah.
It looks a little bright where you are.
It was supposed to rain all day, but I think it's sunny.
I think that's calling out that we're recording this podcast a little earlier than usual.
A little bit early. The sun's still out. So we're, you guys are getting an early in the day episode. You get those occasionally.
I like recording at the end of the day because there's a lot of little panic attacks that I have throughout the day. Yeah. And don't call the fucking hotline. I'm not real panic attacks. All right. They're like little fires. Yeah. Little fires that need to be put out. I'm not freaking out every goddamn day. It's not like I want to grab my head and slam it into my fucking desk every fucking email that comes through. Every time I hear that ding on Discord and some fuckhead is telling me that something else I need to edit.
Azario, can you edit this?
Azario
in 18 minutes.
Azario and Margo. Yes, I will.
I will because I'm the man.
Just fucking chill out. There's another podcast that we have. This is just some insider story because clearly we don't have anything to talk about this episode.
Yeah, there's nothing happened.
We have another podcast called Noisy Pixel Podcast, and I'm typically left to edit and post these, but Arthur is definitely more on top of his game. He's always like, hey, you need to post it. Hey, you need to post it. So weeks back, it was like 1 p.m. and I still hadn't posted it or whatever. And he would be like, what's going on? And I would just say, dude, I'm doing this, comma, this, I'll get to it. And it comes off as I'm being mean or I'm upset. And I know that's the way it comes off in texts. But honestly, I'm just trying to cycle through everything that I'm doing in my head just to organize it really quick because I can't, I'm alone right now. I can't really say it out loud or do anything like that.
Then you have text evidence you can refer to be like, what else do I need to do?
Yeah, but it definitely makes it seem like I'm like in a really bad mood. Sometimes I am, and I'll be like,
sometimes you get a little angry. That happens to all of us.
5 minutes later, I'll be like, hey, sorry, I was being angry. It wasn't you. It was the hot dog's too small and the buns are too big.
I didn't mean it, babe. Come on.
It's my chair wasn't leveled. It was the water was too cold.
And that gets me. That gets me.
I should have put ice in my drink and it ruined the carbonation. It's just stuff like that.
And it just put me in a real sour mood.
But we get through it. On the front-facing side, everything looks organized and good and clean.
Wow.
But you peek open that little door.
Everything's on fire.
Everything's on fire. And Azario's on stage delegating and
Azario's screaming, you, embargo, you, bring me the files, you.
The video files are in M4K. What the fuck am I supposed to do with M4K?
And then I walk in once a week and I go, hey, everybody. I'm just going to record real quick and be done.
See you later.
See you guys. Have fun.
Oh, fuck. But seriously, don't ever send me M4K files. God.
What do you do with them?
Anyway, this podcast is recorded every week, posted on Thursdays to podcast services, iTunes, YouTube's, and everything.
iHeartRadio.
And You said YouTube, Spotify.
Spotify, yeah.
Spotify's. With that said, what are you playing this week, Spencer?
Well, I've been playing what I think is a visual novel. I think. I've been wrong every time I've asked you if a game is a visual novel so far. But this one, I think this one's one. I'm playing the Silver Case 2425.
Whoa, that is not a visual novel.
How? You don't do any interaction.
It is definitely an adventure game because there is interaction. You walk down a hall and shit. And
you walk down a hall and then like twice in the whole game you do use object with door.
Hey.
I know you're a stickler. You're a stickler.
I'm a gatekeeper with what's a visual novel and what it's not.
True. There are 3 visual novels. That is not one of them.
I'm the same way with music too. I went through an emo phase in high school.
Oh, I would have loved to see that.
And I had the hair and shit. And
oh my god,
you missed out. You missed out on cool Zario. Emo Zario. There was like a phase of a subgenre called screamo, and I was like, there is no screamo bands except for Thursday, and that's an actual band. Their name is Thursday, and that's who I was gatekeeping as the only screamo band. But they would like say that all these other bands are screamo, but to this day. Only one screamo band, and the same with
Emo Zario comes out a little bit. Azarimo, and only Thursday.
Only Thursday, the band. Full Collapse, greatest album. I listen to it once a week.
It's like Yu-Gi-Oh. You get like possessed for a second when someone brings up screamo. You go ah, then you're Azarimo, and you say, you know what? Not correct.
Good cod, but not good enough.
Not good enough.
That's a different story for probably for another podcast.
Podcast. So you better keep watching these.
So I don't believe that Silver Case. It's an adventure visual novel.
I was close.
You do read in it, and I'm also playing that game. I'm also playing that game on Switch. So
it's the same game. It's very strange. It's very like it's by Suda51 for people who don't know, the guy who does No More Heroes and Killer 7 and Killer's Dead and stuff. And the first one came out in 1999, I think. And then the second one came out on mobile phones in Japan in the early 2000s, and they remade it for this because this is a collection of 2 games. And it's really interesting, but it's really obtuse. There's a lot of stuff in it where it's like there's not much guidance, and then the story is presented in a very obscure way. So you'll be like, what? It's almost like there's a little bit of David Lynch where you go, how much of this is literal and how much of this is symbolic? Like they'll show a mountain blow up and a girl turns into clothing, and then you're like, was that literal, or does that represent something?
I do know, and you can tell if you're a movie buff, but this game is heavily inspired by that David Lynch style, but also the like, if you ever seen like a Godard film, it seems like what Suda51 did was watch a bunch of Godard films from the 60s, took all of those those screen transitions that Godard loves to do in those old movies, and he's just like, oh shit, I want to make a game just like this, and he did. The reason why I kind of know that more in insider knowledge is I was able to hang out with Suda51 for a while.
Really?
A few years ago. It was a few years ago. It was a younger time. It was a younger time in the industry.
That's big.
But we did get down to talking about Godard films because I think Suda51, like many Japanese developers, they aspired to really get into film.
Yeah.
And you know that if they didn't get into movie making, video games are the second best medium. And I think the Silver Case really does well to outline that style of Suda51.
I'd agree with that. It's got so much style. It's like the concepts are interesting, the characters, the stories like when the stories hit well, they hit really well. It's just very hard to get started
Hmm.
because uh, first I've read that there's like two games that are like before and between these games. I forget the name of the first one. One of them's like Flowers, Sun, Rain. And apparently they're very important to the plot, but I've only read synopses and they're not included. So like the transition between the two games is a little confusing.
Yeah,
But
jumping from the first game to the second, it's
yeah,
there's definitely an issue there.
yeah,
I tried to play them as two separate games, but they are connected in a few different ways.
yeah, exactly. And there are like very interesting ideas. It's just it's tough to access those ideas, but
Mm.
when you do access them, they're very interesting, and you can see a lot of, like you said, like the inspirations that Suda 51 took from different media, and you can really see what he was trying to do, especially now that like he referenced it in Travis Strikes Again with Kamui there, and I feel like he's heavily hinting from that video about Silver Case that you should play them before No More Heroes 3. So I don't know what's gonna, if there's gonna be any references or what, but he released a video where he was like, "Oh, I know you're all waiting for that game, but you should play this one first." And it was like, okay, so I don't know, but it's very interesting, and I do love the style of it quite a bit.
So on that, with visual novels, I think that Suda 51 does uh, many different things than a typical visual novel would do. So I think instead of connecting it with No More Heroes, I would like to see him just continue the series because these are old games. These
Yeah,
I believe the second in the series was a mobile game that they translated over to
yeah,
console a couple years ago. So I would like to think that he's putting so much time into these ports and re-releases that we could see a third entry in the series. If only to see what he could do with the medium again, especially with like Danganronpa out and stuff like that, and him knowing those series.
hmm,
Um, I'd be interested to see what he does with the adventure visual novel medium.
yeah. No, I'd be stoked to see how he does it now. Now that so much has changed.
I will give it up to the localizers of that game because even if that even if that writing is pretty tongue in cheek for today's standards, they didn't hold back.
Yeah, there's a lot of words where I'm like, oh shit, they're that's like at the time that is what was written. So I'm glad that they're preserving the original vision of like who
Yeah,
these characters are and what they say.
because words like that. Okay, I want this character you to like kind of hate this character, you know,
Mhm.
and or kind of like be standoffish about this character, and that's what the writing does. And I feel like if it was written in any other way, it would affect that
Yeah,
feeling. Kind of like watching The Wire. Have you ever watched The Wire before?
I haven't.
Oh
I
my,
know I should.
ah,
I always see people say to watch The Wire, but I haven't watched it yet.
okay. Well, we'll have some homework for Spencer.
Homework for the game podcast, watch The Wire.
Yeah, just watch The Wire. Um, I guess with that we can go into what I'm playing.
Yeah, what have you been playing outside of this silver case?
Oh my god, absolutely nothing but a few things. I've been reading a lot of manga again.
Any standout?
Standout manga. Happy Sugar Life would have to be one. I don't know if you've seen the anime or not,
No.
but it's just one of those yandere ones where the girl's crazy and just like there's a lot of fucking gore and
Those
stuff.
classics.
The classic yandere. Um, been reading that. It has one more volume that's coming out, so I'm excited to see where it leads because I think it differs from the anime. It's
Nice.
good. Um, as for that, I've been wrapping up some visual novels that came out. They're smaller ones. There's this one called like a Slavish Dragon Princess 2 or something like that. Or
Okay.
not 2. but like plus, like it's the
Yeah.
fan disc of the first one. I mean, it's as good as the first one, and that's not saying very much. You know,
Ooh.
it's just not good. I don't like, and that's probably on me. I just don't like the protagonists who come off like I'm a neat, I don't do anything, and then these girls are just like, yeah,
That's so attractive.
that's so and sure, I wish that it was like that, but I cannot tell you how many times a Chad has come along.
Oh no. Oh no.
To really steal what I thought was mine. Fuck you, Madeline.
Oh my.
I didn't have,
Azario, don't fall for it.
I did have I've never had a girlfriend named Madeline, but I thought that was funny for the bit.
Azario, what are you talking about? You are a Chad, brother.
I try and hide. I'm in
It's like Dragon Ball Z. You hide your Chad level.
I had my
You want to get detected by other Chads?
Yeah, it's scary. It's scary because then they'll put my Chad to the test and realize that he's nothing like he looks. That's for sure. He's just put it on a front. That's my advice. Fake it till you make it. But I've been playing that. I've been playing this Love Kami game on Switch as well. Just kind of wrapping up smaller visual novels that have released that no one really covers. Yeah. But on top of getting a bunch of shit done, there's a ton of visual novels that I need to read through. And those are fun because I don't have to like have my hot ass computer on while I read them.
Yeah.
I think I'm more willing to play games in the wintertime because it's too fucking hot, man.
Yeah, you're in the heat place. You're in like the insane heat place.
It's 110 today.
Ooh.
And
that's nasty.
That's Fahrenheit, degrees Fahrenheit. I don't know what that is in Celsius. This is America. This is an American podcast.
It's 27 Celsius here, everybody.
Oh, thanks. Doing the math.
No, that's what it is today here. I don't know what that is scientifically.
Okay.
No, I don't know. It's definitely hotter where you are than where I am.
I bet. Yeah, and it's just to record gameplay, you have to turn everything on and press record, and
now there's hot air blowing everywhere.
You know, there's something to say because I have to do all that on my computer, and there's just something nice about sitting on a couch and just playing a game. You know,
there is.
You know, people say that PC Master Race or whatever. I spend all goddamn day in this goddamn chair, my sweaty ass, just living in it
in your leisure time,
just living in it. And yeah, I'm not about that life.
Nah, it's all about the couch life.
Yeah, I like sitting back, controller in hand, back up. And I hate
way to play games.
I hate playing games. I hate playing games in bed as well because I end up falling asleep because beds are meant for sleep.
That's true.
Man, we're really stretching this podcast along, huh?
Beds are meant for sleep. What else are beds meant for? What else are chairs meant for? Let's discuss the uses of chairs.
Quick. Name 5 things that aren't Jackie Chan.
Oh no! No, not again! Jackie Chan! Shit! Damn
it! To be honest, we have no news to talk about.
Nothing has happened this week. Nothing.
It's been a boring week. It's been a boring week in the game industry. But that's just the way the cards are dealt.
It's just the way it is.
I got nothing.
It's a short episode, everybody.
I got nothing.
Send us more topics.
What's your favorite survival horror video game?
I don't know. Maybe Resident Evil 2?
The original.
Yeah, I like the original, but the remake's great too.
What's your favorite horror movie?
Evil Dead 2.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That's the good one.
That's a really good one. What's your favorite scene from that movie?
Farewell to Arms, when he cuts off his arm and the book's there, and then he puts on the chainsaw and then straps everything in. It's a great moment.
Yeah, I loved those. I just love the camera work. I think I liked the part that scared me the most was when he goes into the cellar area.
Yeah.
Cellars in general are just the scariest. The
There's
scariest
a
fucking
reason
thing.
they don't make cellar houses anymore.
Yeah, this is the scariest thing. That's a good movie.
This
Man.
is a movie.
That's
What
my
about you?
question.
What's your favorite survival horror game and horror film?
Survival horror game would have to be. There's so many.
There's so many.
There's
It's
so
such a
many.
big genre.
Yeah. One that I do like to play. Well, I would say Resident Evil Code Veronica X.
Oh yeah. Call back.
The arguably the most respectable of the Resident Evils.
The gentleman's Resident Evil. The thinking man's Resident Evil.
The one that requires actual skill.
Yes. Bad Resident Evil.
For a movie, fuck, maybe Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
It's a freaky movie.
Yeah, I kind of liked the remake too. I really like Dawn of the Dead.
Nice.
Um,
Alien.
I'd fuck with Alien. I'd fuck with Alien all day long. Yeah, it's a lot of old movies. I went on this binge of like old Universal like horror movies too, so like Dracula and stuff, and I really got into those. So I would say like for those Universal, Bride of Frankenstein, hands down.
Oh, nice.
Best one.
I've never watched the Universal movies, but I always hear Bride of Frankenstein's the one that's the most captivating now.
Yeah, if you're gonna watch a classic horror, I would say that. But you might want to watch Frankenstein before.
Yeah, just to get the context.
Yeah, because I think it starts right after the first one when they're like the house is like destroyed and stuff. But really good.
Nowadays, it would be a part 1 and a part 2 movie nowadays. Yeah.
So that's that.
That's that.
I'm
what
glad
did you
we
guys think of this cool episode.
You got to leave us recommendations on what to talk about in the comments below, because when weeks come around like this, well, things get difficult.
Things get a bit dry.
We
We got to talk about horror movies.
Just like my sex life.
I feel that, brother.
Well, we can agree on something today.
Some common ground.
Have a good week, everyone. Thanks
Take
for
care,
listening.
everyone.
Bye.